Hi. Okay, so today I want to talk about your circadian rhythm and how to use that to your advantage to heal, because it's so important and you really need to take this into account. Okay, so I just have a few little notes here. So basically, uh, let's start from the beginning of the day. So waking up around 6 o'clock is probably the best time to start waking up. Now you don't want to wake up abruptly, like, okay, you have to get up, your alarm goes off, you're hearing sounds, you turn on the lights. This is not the way to wake up. You want to slowly wake up, slowly, you know, do your stretching, breathing, have some water, these kinds of things. You want to get used to the light. So about a half an hour, I would say, to kind of lie in bed and wake up before you actually get out. I also have a morning routine video on here that you can check out for actual tips on the morning. But at 7:30, your melatonin secretion stops. So by 7:30, your cortisol should start to rise. This is when you need to get out of bed. So whether you're sleeping in, whether you're sick, no matter what's happening, you want to get out of bed by 7:30, and you want to get on with your day, do your morning routine. So check out my morning routine for that. Okay, so around 8:30 is when your bowel movements are likely. So we don't want to eat before 8:30. We really want to drink water and be drinking. And we don't want to kind of put more in our body before we've expelled what has gone on yesterday. It's really important because as we sleep, we build up the ability to have our bowel movements in the morning, and we want that to happen. We don't want to have irregular bowel movements. It's super important for healing to have bowel movements every morning. So do not eat, try not to eat until you have to express your bowels, until you go. So you want to go first. And that usually happens around 8:30. You want to drink lots of water beforehand in order to aid that, or a fresh juice, whatever. Just something easy on your system so that it can clean it out. You want it to be fresh and new and start again. Okay, so your highest testosterone is around 9 o'clock. So that is why morning sex is the best for both men and women. It also helps to wake you up. It helps to set your circadian rhythm. I know a lot of you, if you're sick, you're not thinking about sex. You don't even consider having sex or want to have sex, but it's an important biological function. It does help your circadian rhythm. And I'm not saying that most of us even can find time in the morning to do this, but even if you could take a few moments to yourself to do some self-stimulation, just some nipple stimulation, these kinds of things, is just waking up the body. It's helping to say, yes, it's morning. Yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Yes, we're waking, we're setting the clock for the day. And it's just helping your biology what it's supposed to be doing. So morning sex, if you can, is great. Or your own, nipple stimulation or anything in the morning, that would help just to set the clock. Okay, so then in between like 10 and 5, you've got high alertness, the best coordinations around 2 o'clock, you've got the fastest reaction time being around 3:30, and the greatest cardiovascular efficiency and muscle strength around 5. So all of that is great. Most people are at work during that time, but if you're not, these are the best times to be doing physical activities. You want to be outside. If you're doing running, sprinting, walking, biking, lifting weights, anything like that, you want to get it done before 5 o'clock. In between 10:30 and 5 is the best. Don't worry about when. It doesn't really matter. I think you should actually be spending all of that time outside, but of course in our modern world today that's impossible. So make sure you're sitting by windows, you're getting fresh air, you're getting up periodically from your laptop, you're walking around, you're doing things that increase strength, agility, flexibility, doing your yoga, lots of physical activity, getting your cardiovascular walks in. You really need to be outdoors during this time, and if you can't, you need to do things that simulate that. Okay, so now we come into evening time. So after 6:30, like around 6:30 is like your highest blood pressure, and around 7:30 is your highest temperature. So you want to try to eat just before that. So I would say to have dinner in before 6:30, before all the highest pressures and the highest temperatures and everything. You want to have your last meal in before that. So again, that is very hard in today's modern world, but if you could try to finish dinner before 6:30, that would be great. And then at 9 o'clock, melatonin production starts. So you want to be winding down starting at 8:30, 8 o'clock if you can. When the sun goes down is even better. But you want to be well into that nighttime routine and in bed at 9 o'clock at the latest. So that is when melatonin secretion starts. That is when you want your eyes closed on the pillow. You want to be helping that circadian rhythm beforehand to lead up to that and get right into it. So around 10:30, we shouldn't be going to the washroom anymore. We don't want to drink any time after around 7 o'clock so that we can get into that nice sleep cycle. And so that's when your body suppresses its bowel movements. Around 10:30, it starts to suppress. This is the least best time to have sex. This is when most people do that, but everything's starting. Melatonin production starting, your bowel is suppressing, and it's not the time to wake up all the different spikes in hormones that you get from having sex, having orgasms, all these things. It's going to throw off your biological rhythms. So if you can, this is not the time to do that. It's not the time to drink coffee. It's not the time to drink alcohol. It's not the time to have chocolate. It's not the time to do any of those things. You want to calm the system, get into that nighttime routine. You don't want anything to stimulate it at all. Even sex, it's a good time to just cuddle gently, get into that sleep motion, just very cozy hours. And then your deepest sleep is at 2 a.m., so you have to be sleeping by 2 a.m. A lot of people, are awake with insomnia and all these things and lights in the room. You need to black them out. Go take a look at my sleep routine and the best ways for a good nighttime healing routine, and that will tell you all about how to get the best sleep. But we really need to be sleeping from 11 to 4:30. Those are the times that we need to be asleep. Our body has to reset. It has to wash itself, it has to clean itself, it has to heal itself, tissue generation, repair. All of these things happen at night while you're sleeping. So we need to be asleep. Our deepest sleep is at 2, and then again, we start to wake up in the morning and our cortisol starts to come back online around 5. So, excuse me. So anyways, I hope this has helped. Remember, your circadian rhythm is key. We have to try to balance it to how nature intended.